Performing the World is a growing community of people looking for or experimenting with positive social change efforts that contribute to a more peaceful, democratic, and equitable world. Many hundreds of them participate in what is now an annual gathering, conference, showcase, as well as an ongoing movement. Most of the presenters at PTW events are innovators approaching play, performance, and the arts as creative and positive ways of engaging social problems, activating communities, and experimenting with new social and political possibilities. They are interested in not simply protesting what we're against, but creating what we need and want on the ground. The focus of Performing the World is on performance activism, on new ways of creating power through play and performance. Performing the World was initiated by the East Side Institute as an in-person conference in 2001 and continued as a physical get-together in New York until 2020, when the COVID pandemic forced it online. While the intimacy of being in the same space was lost, going online opened PTW to new people who didn't have money to fly to New York or who lived in countries that the US denied visas to. Zoom does away with airline tickets and national borders. More grassroots organizers and people from a wider range of nations were able to participate. Last year, we introduced watch parties. People who had registered to PTW invited family, friends, students, colleagues to get together in schools, community centers, libraries, and homes to watch a session together and talk about it afterwards. Thus, PTW opened up even more and became a hybrid activity, combining Zoom and personal interaction. For more information and to join the community Performing the World, you can visit www.performingtheworld.org or Eastside Institute, www.eastsideinstitute.org. Welcome back, everyone. How are you doing, everyone? My name is Desiree Wanden. I'm the host of Performing the World, Creating the Power. This is our second session of the day. Give yourself a Zoom round of applause for being here. And if you were at our last session, Creating the Power on the Streets of Nairobi, give yourself a Zoom round of applause. Yes, that was an absolutely amazing session. And we are going to keep that African energy nice and strong because we just went from Kenya and now we are going to West Africa to Creating the Power, Nigeria. Introducing to the Performing the World stage, Elizabeth Adams and crew.
Thank you so much, Des. Hello, everybody. I am delighted to be here, and it is a pleasure to host this. Together with me are 5 amazing leaders in Nigeria who have really created the power and created impact in what they do. So without taking too much time, I would go in with the introduction firstly. I am Elizabeth Adams, an educator and spoken word poet, serving as the Lagos State Administrator of Advocacy Movement, the Secretary General of the Youth Advisory Board, and a board member of Street Project Foundation. I am an associate also of the East Side Institute, an advocate of the United Nations Global Institute, and also an alumna of the international class. It is a delight to host Creating the Power Nigeria, and this session would focus on a brief journey into the exploits of these 5 young leaders I initially mentioned in Nigeria and the impact they have made both in Nigeria and globally. So I would invite you to walk this journey with me as I introduce each of them. The first person I would like to introduce is Samuel. Hello, Samuel. Hello, Samuel. Can you hear me?
Hello, Elizabeth. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much.
Oh, amazing. Okay. So everyone, Samuel James Femi is a deaf empowerment strategist, a sign language interpreter, educator, artist, and deaf arts curator. He holds a master's degree in performing arts and has decades of experience that makes him a visionary in his field. Samuel is the Southwest Coordinator and Lagos State Chairman of the Association of Sign Language Interpreters in Nigeria. He founded the Deaf Can Dance Crew, a professional dancing, all-deaf dancing group that has shattered stereotypes and created equal opportunities for deaf dancers. As the founder and executive director of Sims Deaf Pro Foundation and the CEO of Sims Consult, Samuel has spearheaded several projects like the All Africa Deaf Arts Festival, bridging the gap between formal education and vocational training in the arts. Samuel organizes inclusive events such as the Dramatic Sign Language Challenge, the Ultimate Interpreters Challenge, and the Deaf Dance Boot Camp. His selfless services has earned him numerous accolades and awards both locally and globally as he continues to break barriers to create a more inclusive world. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Samuel. It is a delight to have you with us, Samuel. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us. I'll go further to introduce other panelists who are also here with me today. The next person I would love to introduce is Aminat, a very wonderful woman in the field of EdTech. Aminat is the founder of Tech Kiddies, a thriving initiative dedicated to empowering kids with essential tech skills. Under her leadership, Tech Kiddies has made significant global impact, leading to its recognition as the top 50 EdTech innovations by UNESCO and Future Perspectives. Aminat is a tech enthusiast, an experienced educator, and Aminat is passionate about shaping the next generation of creators and innovators through hands-on and interactive learning experiences. It is a delight to see that Aminat has really moved this tech game to Nigerian children, catching them young. Aminat, you're welcome to this program today and the session. Hello, Aminat. Good to have you with us. Would you like to say hello?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good day.
Yes, thank you for joining us. That's not all. Just stay with me as I advance, take you on this journey as we go to Oladoyin Idowu. Oladoyin Idowu is a mental health professional and the founder of One Word Africa Foundation. She holds a BSc in psychology from Redeemers University, Nigeria, and is a graduate member of the British Psychological Society. With over 7 years of experience advocating for dyslexia and neurodiversity, Oladoyin has trained thousands of advocates and parents on effective management and support for learning differences. Her expertise spans psychological first aid, cognitive behavioral therapy, trauma-informed care, business development, and leadership. Oladoyin's work has been featured in documentaries by BBC Africa and filmmaker James Amula. She has contributed to publications such as What I Need and Black, Brilliant, Brilliant, and Dyslexic. She has also been recognized by the United Nations Academic Impact for her contributions. Currently, Oladoyin serves as the head of operations at Serenity Nigeria, where she continues to advance mental well-being initiatives. Her commitment to expanding therapeutic interventions and promoting inclusive education has made a significant impact both locally and globally. Isn't that amazing to challenge such stereotype, especially in a place like Nigeria, where there's been almost little or no awareness about neurodiversity? Hello, Oladoyin. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Elizabeth. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So everyone, we are still moving. We have two more amazing leaders that I would love to introduce to you. There's Zakari Emmanuel, also known as Two Piles Zakari. Zakari is a creative youth leader, spoken word poet, and influencer, passionate about promoting the cause of youth inclusion in marginalized community in Nigeria and West Africa. He uses his talents in mobilizing young people towards youth participation in civic engagement, good governance, and sustainable development goals, particularly interested in SDGs 4, 13, and 14, focusing on quality education, climate action. Zakari is a people-friendly community organizer, native skills in movement building, leadership, and democratic governance, contributing to influencing and shaping policy. In the past 7 years, he has worked with over 5,000 youths and led grassroots projects. He is a top 30 under 30 change maker, recognized by Opportunity Desk Global. Zakari is the founder of Udama Unity Organization, also known as Udama for Africa, a youth-led organization that's committed to empowering marginalized community in Africa through digital solutions, research, and creative arts. He serves as the first lead and official of the advocacy movement. He sits as the vice president of the Youth Advisory Board of Street Project Foundation. He is recognized by several awards, including the Book for Peace Award in Rome, Italy, for his book, The Autopsy, a Poetic Compendium. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Zakari Emmanuel. He would join us soon. There is the Gift Chikere, who also is a performance activist and artist. She employs poetry, music, and theater to tell stories, advocating for social causes. She is presently set to make a Guinness World Record titled Theaterthon, a 170 hours of non-stop theater performance starting in October. In 2021, the Gift received a grant from the Step Up, Speak Up program by Voice Global. She has participated in the UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Conference in Nigeria. She also led an artistic team to victory in the UNESCO Youth Hackathon program in Paris, promoting the theme Disagree in Peace. She's an ambassador of the Street Projects Foundation and the mobilization lead of advocacy movement in Lagos State. She is the community field officer of child domestic work, advocating for the purpose of children and how they should be mentored. Thank you very much for agreeing to join us also, Gift. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the people that we have with us today, these amazing Nigerian change makers. We would go on to have a conversation around questions, knowing more about what they do, what spurred them into it, the drive that keeps them going, because trust me, in a country like Nigeria, we all know that it's not so easy to really challenge stereotypes and push forth a narrative to make impact. So, let's start with Samuel. Hi, Samuel. Hello, Samuel. Can you hear me?
Hello, I'm with you, please. Yes, I can
Thank
hear
you.
you.
So I know you have a video. Samuel has this interesting video. Samuel is someone who organizes people with deafness to come together and dance and use dance as a tool. So it's quite inspiring to see that. At what point did you get to know that people who are deaf would be able to dance? Because it's something many people would not think about or even consider. How come you noticed that opportunity? At what point?
Well, I've been working with the deaf for quite a while, and there was no particular point I'll say, okay, they can actually dance, because I've always known that dance in itself is an innate ability. It doesn't take music, as people understand it, that it doesn't take music to be able to dance. So I see dance, it's an innate thing, it's something they come with. So, and I've seen deaf people move and just jigging with the music, and everything has been fun on. But the point where I actually saw it as a time, as a thing that can be a performance, a professional performance, was in 2006. That's when I first got into deaf art generally. So I don't do dance alone. I do also other art forms for the deaf. So I work with them closely. I have a special education certificate. So I'm into special education and also performing arts. So I was opportunity to direct a particular drama meant just for the deaf, and I had to infuse dance. So I saw it as a way. I do not want to. I don't want people to see just as okay, they can dance, but I want something wow, something people will see and really applaud, not sitting down applauding, but something they can stand up and really applaud. So it has to be very, very close to perfection. That took time, but we were able to achieve that, and that was 2000. That was the breaking point, and we moved people to tears, and that was just the start for me. It was the kick for me then.
Wow, that's really impactful. And when you talk about this, I think I would really want people to see the short clip that you have for us today. If that can come up soon, I will be very glad. Let's see what you're really talking about and come back to more questions.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, ooh. I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the. Hey, you turn me up, believer, believer. Hey, you turn me up, believer, believer. The bullets fly, let them rain. My life, my love, my time, it came from. Hey, you burn me up, believer, believer.
Wow. Wow. Samuel, that's powerful. That's so
Thank you very much.
powerful. This
So
shows the amazing work that you have put in together with these creative talents. So I'll just delve into a few questions I have for you. I would like to know, I would like also for everyone to know, what are the most effective ways that your performances have promoted language accessibility and inclusion also for individuals who are deaf in Nigeria?
wow, okay, where do I begin? Well, my work with Deaf Can Dance has been absolutely transformative in itself. One of the most powerful aspects is how it challenges people's preconception. People tend to see them in a particular light, which I do not buy into. When they see these talented deaf dancers moving, perfecting that synchronization to music, the music they cannot actually hear. It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. It really drives home the point that deaf individuals are capable of incredible artistic expression. Then the use of sign language in our performances. This is just half of it. Any of our performance, if you watch it, you always include sign language. Sign language in itself, it's a beautiful language because there's a movement, there's a flow to it. It's the use of not just the hands but the body too. So it's more very, very close to dance. So when we use that, it's a game changer. It's not just about accessibility. We're not talking about just accessibility, no, but it's about a celebration. We incorporate sign language as an integral part of the choreography. We are elevating it as an art form in its own. This has done wonders for has increased appreciation and understanding of sign language among hearing audiences, those that they see the beauty of it. So I have seen firsthand myself how these performances, how they boost the confidence of deaf individuals. But when you perform as a deaf, being a deaf alone, it has a way it sinks you. You're like in a glass a cover. You're covered. You can see everything around you, but you cannot perceive sounds. And they see themselves on stage being representing themselves, not just as just a participant, but they are stars. It's incredible. And it's really empowering. It sends a powerful message to them. It tells them that you belong here. Your language and your culture are valuable, and this is what I try as much as possible. And the community outreach we do a lot of community outreaches. We go to popular slums. We perform and just create awareness about the deaf, and this has been very, very effective. Right, we take performances to schools, to community centers. We are reaching people who might never have seen a deaf artist perform. So it's opening up conversations and changing mindsets. I think it's been effective from my perspective.
I think that's a very good one. If you would allow me comment at this point, I like that you mentioned that sign language is really close to dance, and that has just got me thinking, which is really true. So at the end of the day, they are performing and they are being celebrated. They're making activities happen for themselves. So would you like to share at least maybe one or two challenges and one or two opportunities you have encountered in promoting the deaf culture and awareness in Nigeria? So you talked about reaching out to schools, communities, and changing mindsets and changing perspective. What are some of the challenges you have seen there? Maybe one or two, and also the opportunities.
Okay. All right. Challenges have been numerous. But so also we have opportunities. And one of the biggest hurdles, what we really actually facing, is it's deeply ingrained it's stigma surrounding deafness. Some parts of Nigerian society, they don't see them as human. They just see them as just one of those and just passing about. They're just there. But what the challenges.
Hi, Samuel.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Samuel, can you hear?
Yes, please.
Oh, we can hear you. Please just go ahead.
All right. Oh, sorry. I had a click, so I was wondering. Sorry.
Okay.
Samuel, you can keep going. We can see you. We can hear you. You're good.
All right. Thank you very much. So there still is a lot of misunderstanding and sadly discrimination. But what the challenge has also presented to us is our greatest as an opportunity, education. We use that to chip in. We educate people about them. Every performance, every workshop, every online talk we do is a chance for us to chip away, to just move away away those misconceptions. And it's been incredibly rewarding to see attitudes shift. People come to meet us, they talk to us, and they just want to, how are we doing this? And so it's a way we try as much as possible to clean the society in that sense. And also we have the challenge of funding, of course, and that has been a significant challenge. The arts are often, arts generally, you don't see funds in arts. People don't see arts in this part of the world, especially where we have other issues. We're still battling with our democracy. We're still battling with the politics, the leadership, and all that. So art is still being pushed generally, and that's talking about art for those with disability, those who are not even seen as someone, some people that can actually do things. So it's a double rack of discrimination in that area. But this has also pushed us to be creative and resourceful. We've built amazing partnership with NGOs. We do work with NGOs, we work with schools, and even some forward-thinking corporations who see the value in what we do. So we try as much as we work with them to be able to get this. And also, there's the lack of formal training opportunities for deaf dancers.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would want to
So,
come in here.
for deaf dancers, yes, please.
I would like to come in here now to say thank you very much. Having highlighted these opportunities and the challenges firstly and the opportunities that you've been able to identify. It is our hope that more people begin to connect with what you do, because I think it is really amazing. You have indeed created the power of Nigeria, and the impact is mind-blowing. Thank you very much, Samuel, for joining us. I'm sure that the audience would have questions for you. I'm sure they would have questions for you. We would get to Q&A where these can be left in the chat, and I hope you respond to them. You'll be called upon if this gets us to find out. So let me welcome Aminat and hear from her and her tech exploits with children. It's one thing to teach tech to adults. It's another thing to realize that all children also should get these tech skills as young as they are, especially children in Nigeria. So hello, Aminat. I'll just go straight into your first question, because if I was left, I would have like, if I was allowed, I would have like a million questions for you. But let's start with this one. So what has been the acquiring of tech skills? How has it enhanced learning for Nigerian children? You know how yes, we have the regular classroom, the four walls, and that's one of the things we use. That's one of the ways we learn here. But what has the acquisition of tech skills done to change that conservative method of learning, or that conventional way of learning? What do you think on that? Would you like to share with us?
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. Can you hear me clearly?
Of course, we can hear you. Thank you.
All right. So initially, when we kickstarted Tech Kiddies, we thought it was all about empowering the kids with tech skills. But then we realized there were a lot of things connected to it. And the very first one is logical reasoning. We did realize that kids who were exposed to coding, robotics, and every other thing related to the logical part of coding or technology, they got to be much more they got to be very brilliant when it comes to logical reasoning or anything relating to mathematics. So basically, we realized that technology, empowering kids with tech skill, was beyond just coding, but then it's kind of translated to the academic performance, where kids could reason, they could solve maths, they could do any other thing involving analytics. Also, we did realize that empowering these kids as well made it easier for them to explore their creativity. Apart from coding, we also teach animation classes. And then most kids, after designing, doing things, combining colors, combining different shapes to make any human or anything or cartoon characters, they kind of they had the freedom to create something. So this kind of freedom also translated to freedom in other areas of their life, when they did know that they are not limited. They can do as much, they can explore their creativity, they can they can design, they can just explore every part of life. So basically, empowering kids with these tech skills involved the improvement in logical reasoning, and then the ability to explore their own creativity.
In simple terms, creating the power for Nigeria, because these young children are the future leaders that we're looking up to. So yes, it's a good thing you've already started the journey with them in creating the power. So what do you think in the nearest future, what do you think AI and tech contribution would have? What impact do you think it would have in Nigerian leadership? What impact?
All right, AI is here and it is yet to say. So I think the very first thing is to embrace AI. And after embracing AI, I would say it has a lot of significant advantages, although we also have its downside as well, which has to be explored maybe later on. But then when it comes to the significant advantages, we have the productivity, we have the efficiency. And for anyone who wants to get the very best of AI, you have to learn it. AI is basically a tool, and then it's a tool with numerous advantages, numerous users. So to make use of AI to leadership, academics, or any field, you have to just learn it and understand how to maximize it, while also exploring the significant disadvantages connected with the use of AI.
I agree with you. I believe that in the nearest future, with what our young people are exposed to now, when they take up leadership roles and positions, I mean, particularly in politics, they would be able to leverage the opportunities that tech have to impact Nigeria and change certain societal stereotypes more. Thank you very much for the work you're doing with these children, Aminat. I'm sure you would have more questions, but for now, I will just allow you go while I invite another powerful and amazing woman, Oladoyin Idowu. Hi, Doyin. Please, I invite you to join me. I have a million questions for you, but let me start.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi. It's amazing what you do, because dyslexia, first of all, is not even something many people want to talk about or believe in. I've seen cases where parents don't even want to accept that children have this. So it's powerful that you have gone ahead to train, and the fact that you're training the educators who are more like custodians to these to these children or learners path. It makes it even more impactful, because they would in turn impact classrooms and more people. But what strategies do you think Nigeria can implement to promote more inclusivity in leadership for the future?
Okay, thank you for that question. And thank you for your kind words about my work and what we do at One World Africa Foundation. So pretty much, and what we continue to echo is the fact that there needs to be diverse representation in leadership. So we need to first and foremost take account different kind of persons that we have. So we have neurodiverse people. Now, neurodiversity is an umbrella, but when we break down the umbrella, we have ADHD, we have dyslexia, we have autism, we have so many other things like that. So it's very important that in planning anything, like in policies that we can, there's a representation of these different persons in leadership roles, because it's impossible for you to develop solutions for people when you do not even know what they experience, right? So that's one of the first things that, that I would literally encourage, that it's very important that we start to, pay attention to the fact that there are people like this that exist. And when people even come to you with their truth, people always undervalue or invalidate it. Especially in the neurodiversity space. In the neurodiversity space, the disabilities, I'm using the air quote, are said to be or considered to be some form of excuse. When I tell people that I have dyslexia, they say you don't look it. So what's the visual representation of dyslexia? And because there's no visual representation, does it now mean that I do not deserve, the basic and all of the rights that I'm supposed to have as a citizen? Those are some of the things. So everybody needs to first and foremost have the outlook to to be accommodating of the different people. When people tell you they have experiences like this, let's all accept that there are people like that. And another thing that I would also say is that we need to do we need to have a lot of policies in place for neurodiverse persons as well, because it's policies that are in the grassroots that can even help them be empowered enough to hold leadership position. Currently, with the way the policies exist, it writes them out of the system. What do I mean?
Babes, are we going to be watching Strictly?
Oh. Sorry?
What?
Could everybody please mute themselves other than the speakers? Thank you.
Please go on, Doyin.
Okay. I lost my train of thought. If you could also please ask the question again. I'm dyslexic. Sorry, guys.
Oh, thank you. I like that this is happening. So people are getting more on hands-on or direct experience with what you're talking about. So I
Yeah.
like that you lost your train of thought so they understand these things, because even I've seen teachers who would say a dyslexic child is having bad behavior rather than address what this child is going through. I've seen parents who would, especially in Nigeria, where we think these are excuses. So I like
Yeah.
what you're doing at One World Africa. I think I would move on to the second question, which is what are some of the effective methods that you have been able to utilize to raise
Okay.
awareness and reduce stigma? Because we just talked about some of this stigma now. So what are
Yeah.
some of the ways you've been able to try to at least make sure this is reduced in Nigeria?
Okay, so what we do is we do a lot of grassroots campaigns where we go schools to schools, church to church, mosques to mosques, like religious organizations, academic institutions, and even the workplace. So we go everywhere. So every time I go even into an event is an opportunity for me to speak about dyslexia, and that's one of the things that we employed that has helped us to cover a lot of ground. And then when we even go into some parts of Nigeria where they don't speak the English, we also adopt the help of community leaders with organization to translate. More people, regardless of their environment, they understand that when they have some children around them with some set of characteristics, it's telling signs that it might be this going on, so that they have the outlook to solve such conditions. Another thing that we do is we invest in a lot of teacher trainings. So we do teacher trainings for public schools, low cost schools, as well as private schools. Just again, because so that everybody knows, everybody has the access to the help that they need. So and then finally we do media outreaches, going to the radio, TV stations, and utilizing social media. So those are some of the ways that we have been able to cover advocacy over time.
That's really lovely. I like the teacher. I like all the angles, particularly maybe because I'm a teacher. I like the teacher training angle, because if we had campaigns like this when I was younger, I wouldn't have faced as much bullying as I faced with my disability in the classroom from my teachers. Thank you very much for the work you're doing at One World Africa.
Thank you.
It is nice to have you here. So I wouldn't know. We have really gone through a lot and lot of conversation. I think I would want to invite Zakari and the gift Chikere. We initially made their introduction, so I might just have one question each for both of them before we move on to Q&A, because I believe that our audience would have lots of questions for us. So hello Zakari, if you can hear me, and welcome.
Hello, can I go?
Oh yes, please. Thank you very much, Joey. Let me get on to Zakari and ask at least a question if he's on board with us. Thank you. Hello, Zakari. Are you there? Can you hear us?
Maybe having some difficulty. Okay, I see him. Got him.
Oh, okay. So the gift.
Hello, guys.
Hi, Zakari. You're welcome. The gift is also here. So I'll just have the rounds with both of you, at least having a question each. Hi, the gift. I initially mentioned your plans for the Guinness World Record Theathon by October 12th. Is that correct? So we are looking forward to you breaking that record. So I'll just go straight to Zakari's question now. So Zakari, you are really into grassroots mobilization and all of those policy changing, policy recommendations and all of that. But in response to some of the assumed mismanagement of funds, of resources rather, by the Nigerian leaders or governments, what are some of the things you think the next generation of Nigeria can do better? If you can respond to this in a minute, I'll be really glad. What do you think the next generation of Nigerian leaders will do better? What can they do better based on the work you have been doing and the sustainable development goals you have been implementing?
Unfortunately, Zakari got bumped technologically.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so thank you, Des. Let me go on to the gifts for now. Zakari is having a network challenge. So hi, the gift once again. The gift is
Hello.
she's a multifaceted artist and has used her art to really advocate and do a lot in Nigeria. So I would just like to say, in the next future, what role do you think performances would play in amplifying marginalized voices and stories in Nigeria? So a lot of people are in that category of marginalized voices. So what do you think performances, the performing arts would play in amplifying these voices in the near future?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I would want to just say that
Thank you for joining.
I look forward to a time where performance activism takes center stage. Currently, we still have performance activism in pocket sizes. So maybe an event is going on somewhere, you just have one poet come somewhere and makes a performance, or there's a music performance somewhere. But look at the larger scale when it comes to entertainment, for instance, in Nigeria. For instance, during the end of the year season, there are big performances happening around the country. So I believe that if we come to a point where in these big kind of spaces, we have performance activism happening in those big spaces, it allows the everyday person get access, get in touch with the real society concerns on the go. So it's not just that when we have to have performances that are on advocacy, it's just in a room, in a hall, in one pocket square, somewhere along the road, along the side, but it's taking major spaces. And I look forward to a point where artists in Nigeria or art in Nigeria, they understand the fact that entertainment or art is not just, it's beyond entertainment. It's a tool for social change. It's a tool that can change narrative, that can rewrite narrative. So as much as people want to get excited with entertainment, with art, and just have fun and dance or sing or paint or do art for art's sake, but we come to a point where art is intentional, very intentional. Art has a focus. Art has a goal on the secular stage. On the secular stage, we have big names like the Davido, the Burna Boy. We see them champion art performances for advocacy, for social causes on a regular, just the same way they would release albums or create catalogs of music. We see them incorporate social causes as part of the songs that will make the album, because it's one thing to have popularity as an artist and understand the power of that popularity, the power of that influence. And when you begin to incorporate that influence with advocacy in your art, it transforms it transforms the average individual that will just dance and forget about the song. The song sinks in and stays with you. And that's how change happens.
I agree with you 100% on this. I also believe that if we can make art mainstream, that would really help push forth the narrative of social justice and change in Nigeria. So you sent us a video. I wouldn't know if that can come up whilst we look out for questions, conversations, anything else from our audiences who I'm sure have been really intrigued. Let's get to see your video.
Our life is a voice.
An old adage says, actions speak louder than words. But in today's generation, words kill faster than actions. With just one click on the send button, bullets made from hate speech hit my target continents away. It is death at first read. The cemetery is social media, burying its victims alive before an autopsy is done. Every victim is survived by likes, emojis, and comments of rest in peace by the same fingers who never type words of peace. A comment is never just a comment. So take a moment to consider your words before you post them. Fact check to find the truth of every information. And our differences in belief, religion, preferences, and opinion should never be the graveyard of our existence. Let's be the voice to those who have been silenced, whose self-worth have been crucified on the cross made from hate speech. We need to come together to fight. This is a good fight for our faith. An old adage says, actions speak louder than words. But this generation is faced with a greater threat. All it takes is one unchecked speech and a click to start a war. We are faced by a greater threat than genocide, and the funeral will not be televised.
Yes. Wow, that was really powerful. Des, I don't know if you have questions in the chat or any contributions from the audiences. I am sure that our panelists are willing to respond.
Sure. People could raise their hands. People could write into the chat. Anyone have any questions, any comments? We have a question from Carrie Lohman. Elizabeth.
Hi, everybody. Oh.
Hi, Carrie.
I'm echoing because I'm in two different computers. Hold on. I'll move out of the room.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, Lizzie.
Hi, Carrie.
Thank you so much for introducing us to these wonderful activists. I was wondering whether you could maybe a little bit each speak to, do you know each other, and does working and knowing each other have an impact on what you're able to do and create? I was thinking about the making performance activism and activists mainstream in Nigeria, and it made me think that part of that would be all of you and the connections that you have to each other.
Mm-hmm. I think that, yes, that might work. Not all of us know one another, but I know each person. I have connected with each person here at some point, and I could be the bridge to connect, because that also went through my mind, the connecting dots as to what we all do. Every one of them breaking or challenging stereotypes in one way or the other. It would be wonderful to get them all together and do something powerful. If any of the panelists would like to respond to that, that would be amazing.
I would love to respond to that.
Okay.
Okay, so it seems like a coincidence. Yesterday, I was asked on Twitter, what do I think about when it comes to working with other artists? So I would love to say, I know some people. I do not know everybody on this panel right now. However, I think when it comes to finding collaborators on projects, it's beyond just the artist. It's what our value systems are. It's what our belief systems are. It's about shared passion, shared pain, shared struggles. These are the things that draw us to each other. And the fact that we find similarities in our pain and we become each other's strength, each other's shoulder to lean on. And we say, you bring your art and I will bring my art. You bring your poetry, I bring my music, I bring my dancing, I bring my singing, I bring my sound. And we come together. You also bring your dance. We come together and we have a common goal. So when it comes to collaboration, the beautiful thing that attracts us together as artists is the goal, is the mission, is what we're trying to speak up for, what we're trying to fight for, and what we're trying to achieve collectively, not just individually. Thank you.
That's a wonderful perspective. Would anyone like to respond to Carrie, Oladoyin, Aminat, Samuel?
Elizabeth pretty much said it. You've been the bridge, where, for instance, I've seen Samuel's work, and I do intend to reach out to you on a personal level on how I connect to Samuel. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what you've answered it. I don't think I need to echo what you've said.
That's true. Yes, I was thinking about you and Samuel really, because I noticed the connection as to what you both do. So I'm glad you also had that line of thought, and I'll be very glad to get you both connected. Also at Lincoln Circles, I do that. And another hand is raised. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. It's beautiful, beautiful work. It's lovely to hear from all of you. I guess I'm always just interested in kind of the process of bringing something new into communities or certain groups like the deaf. And so I was wondering, overall, in terms of the impact or how you work with people, has it led to others, either the particular people you're working with, the dancers or the students or whoever, themselves wanting to develop to be activists or involved or leaders, whatever? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but kind of what that's looked like, and have they been able to take it out more broadly? And then I was also wondering, what, if you could just, and you've said a little bit about this, but if you could expand a little bit about, and because again, we all have the experience of bringing something new, and you can get pushback, you can get resistance, people don't, not everyone agrees. So I guess I'm just curious, what kinds of challenges have there been, and how have you creatively addressed those?
Okay, Carrie, would you like is there one person you would like to respond to this, or would you like to call out any of the panelists and you would like to really respond, or anybody can jump on it?
Anybody could respond to either or.
Okay.
I would love to hear from everyone, but I guess maybe no, I think I just wanted to hear from everyone, or whoever wanted to address that, if it was relevant to your work.
Okay, I think one of the first question you asked was how have they been able to also raise other activists or advocates?
Yeah, like how have people, wherever they are, how have they been emerged or wanted to grow or wanted to emerge as activists?
So
in addition to being performers and things.
Yeah, so the people they have worked with, has there been any one of these people who have thought, oh, well, I think I should join in this?
Yeah, or is that part of the process, overall?
Yes. Okay. So Samuel, would you like to have a go at this?
I think we lost him.
Oh, yeah. Okay. If there's anyone else who wants to talk on this, that would be nice. So in the course of your work, Oladoyin, particularly with training educators, have you met educators who have wanted to jump on what you do, or is that part of the goal, to raise an army of other educators or parents who would become voices as well, just as you are? Same goes for the gifts. In the course of your advocacy, have you been able to raise a community of amazing people also who want to do what you do and join in the work, or do you have that in plan?
Okay, can I go?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I like to say I'm privileged to be the mobilization lead for the Lagos Advocacy Movement, where we use creative art as a tool for social change. And I would say one of the challenges that I have faced in leading that group, or generally in leading projects that are centered around using art for advocacy, the fact that most artists a lot of times are not interested in advocacy work, because advocacy work first comes from a place of service. It's not, a lot of time, it's not, it doesn't pay you back in money per se. So, and the young ones these days, I'm also a young person, sometimes the focus is something that would pay me money, give me money right now. And not that that is not something to be considered, but at the same time, I feel there's a breach in the understanding of the fact that if the society in which you live in is not working, your source of livelihood will be tampered with. So, and as artists, you need to understand that your art becomes a tool for assignment. So if we do not have a lot of artists who understand this work and the purpose of what that art, what your ability or talent is supposed to do, there begins to have some sort of lacking in that space. So with the advocacy movement in Lagos, Nigeria, the Lagos chapter, what we tend to do is we always tend to bring artists together, and say, what can we do together? Because on the bigger scale, we want our art to be a source of livelihood for us, make income, live life through it, but it still boils down to the society in which we live in. So being able to, I think, have a mental shift for artists to see this particular, how the art is connected to society, to community, to policies, to good governance, to good leadership at the end of the day. So the more you speak up for these concerns, the more you have a better society. You also have a better society that serves you back in return. So I think there's some sort of knowledge gap. So that's what we do with the advocacy movement in Lagos. We bridge that gap, constantly bringing artists together to spur content, to spur movement, to project this particular sort of art of what a right society should be, what a right community should be, using our art as the platform, as the tool for work. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would also add that the Gift had a project in 2021 or 22, I'm not sure now, that impacted young people so much that there was an increased turnout of young people in the 2023 national elections in Nigeria, where people came out to vote. We had more young people voting as a result of the awareness that she had created with her artistic work the previous year. Yes, so that's really led to a big shift, a paradigm shift in the mindset. Do we have more questions or anyone else who wants to respond? Or would you like to respond to what the Gift said?
I have a question if I can jump in.
Okay.
So this is a kind of a big one and hard to formulate, so forgive me if it's a bit all over the place. This was initially addressed towards Samuel and Oladoyin. Please forgive me if I pronounced your name incorrectly. But I feel like all of these activists could speak to this in some way. This is about when working with people, quote unquote, on the margins. I'm interested specifically in when we're working with people who are considered neurodiverse. My experience has been the stigma is multifold, but the two main prongs I've kind of come up against are this kind of capitalist notion that these people are quote unquote good for nothing, whether it be deaf people, people with learning disabilities, etc. But then also in the South African context in which I've worked, there was another aspect of stigma that was much stickier and harder to get to, and that is spiritual understandings of disability. So understanding a child experiencing or presenting with certain symptomology as a product of bewitchment or a similar kind of spiritual affliction. And I think combating these people are good for nothing from a kind of capitalist lens is easier than it is to talk to address, to engage with people around some of the kind of things that we don't talk about out loud, but that are very present in how we shape or that shape our understanding of people living with disabilities in particular. So, like I say, that was specifically for Samuel and Oladoyin, but I'm sure all of you address issues that are much kind of deeper and less spoken about with the communities you engage with. And I wonder how you move into that really sticky space.
That's a very amazing question. Is Oladoyin, do we still have Oladoyin or Samuel? Any of them who would want to respond? I also do have a personal response to this because in the Nigerian context as well, there's also that spiritual belief related to disabilities. As a person with albinism myself, there is a lot of spirituality around it. People believe that in some culture, I bring bad luck. A baby with albinism in Nigeria would bring bad luck. In some other culture, they believe that our body parts could be used as ingredients to make money, to get wealth. So people with albinism are hunted or killed and the body parts sourced. So there's that too, in addition to the good for nothing mindset in the society. So all of this ableism, all of these stereotypes, misconceptions are there, and which is why we've been lending our voices through different medium to address it and try as much as possible to change the narrative. we have spent our time, and I know that we would have really had a lot more to talk about and share, but it was amazing having this session and having all these powerful people come together. I want to very much appreciate the audience for staying with us through and having a torchlight into Nigeria. Thank you very much. I see hands raised.
Great, thank you. And sorry that I'm not in a position to come on camera at the moment, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for this incredibly powerful presentation. And to Samuel, and also, oh my goodness, where are the names going? And Gift, for the videos that you shared with us. They were so just incredibly powerful for me. I would love to not only watch them again numerous times, but also to share them both with my extended community and especially with my students, who are all first-generation college students from all over the world at UC Berkeley. So if there's a way that you can put those links in, or if I can contact you directly to get those. I also had a very quick question about the possibility of universities helping to sponsor trips for your performance groups here to the United States, and if that can be facilitated, if I can reach out to you for that.
Wow, that's really amazing. The Gift, Samuel, are you still there? That's a powerful one.
Yes, he is. I'm going to rename him.
Okay.
Samuel is here.
Samuel, would you like to respond to what Amy just asked? Yes, and please leave your contacts.
Yes, please.
Okay, please
Thank
go
you very
ahead.
much. Thank you very much, Amy. Yes, of course, definitely. We would love to have that. And yes, I would love to have share contact with you. And also, we have other videos too I can share with you, much more extensive ones than just a short one we have here. So I would really want to connect with you and see a way we can work together and collaborate and see how far we can go with that, please. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, when I was 18, I saw the National School for the Deaf, based in Washington, D.C., perform at UC Berkeley, and that led me to study sign language as the language that I studied here in the U.S. So thank you again so much for the powerful work that you do.
Appreciate. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. The Gift, you were also asked. Amy had this question. Yes.
It's also be a great one to connect with you and really see what work we could do together. It will always be an honor, and I feel the kind of work that arts can do with activism should be shared across different platforms, different countries and continents. People should get in touch with it. So I would also leave my contact some way, somehow, maybe through Elizabeth or whichever way, but some way we'll keep in touch. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amy. If Des has your contact, it will be easier for me to get it across to the Gift.
Well, great. I just put it in the chat. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. The Gift, you can pick it up from there, and we can all just have it.
I have yours also. Thank you. Sorry for such the personal in the questions.
And we have a little bit more time. We're gonna extend this for about 5 to 7 more minutes. So let's keep this going.
Whoa, then that's lovely, because I was quite on the edge there. So I like to have more time. So I think I like the interaction. It's powerful. It's exposing more and more layers of how we can really do a lot together as one big society, performing the world in general. So yes, we would take more questions, more responses. To the question that was asked before about spirituality and how it affects persons with disabilities in Nigeria. But if there's any other question that could come up, but before then, Samuel, I was in hopes that you would respond to that. Aside from the society seeing people with deafness as not good enough, what are the spiritual misconceptions that you have experienced, and how have you tackled that? Okay, another hand is raised. Samuel, you might want to hold on. I think.
All right, thank you very much. So generally, they tend to see them as demon possessed, and we have I personally have interpreted in programs whereby the pastor comes around and lay hands. I believe in miracle. Don't get me wrong. However, I believe that there is a miracle already in them, being able to learn the language, the sign language, being able to see people like them, and being able to perform, show the world that even with this, because God is just, the way I see it, God is dynamic. It's not the way we think it should be. And the expression of him is in everyone. The disability, the inequality, not looking good, however we see it. But there is that possibilities that is portrayed through them. So people here, they tend to see them as someone possessed with a demon, and a miracle has to happen. But the miracle has already happened with they being able to do what they are doing. So that's just the way I see it. And
Yeah,
it's been working for me.
I really agree with you on that, because I remember as a child, as I think about 5, a pastor had come to lay hands on me to turn me into black, to make me darker, being born with albinism. So my mom said that happened also, and she had to stop him because she knew what I had and how to manage it. So things like this really do happen. I see Martha's hand is raised, and please, you can go ahead, Martha.
That's right. Hi, it's Martha and Raquel. And I had a question for Aminat. And my question for Aminat is, and I love that you're using coding initially and then responding to your participants and seeing what they needed, and that experience of freedom that then kept going. And I'm wondering, how are you based? Like, what support do you have or need? What relationships would be helpful? And I do a lot of work with different Black communities in computing in the United States. So that's why I put my info here as well. But I'm curious how you're able to do your work, if you could say just a little bit to that.
Aminat, the floor is yours.
Unmute.
All right, can you hear me now? All right, thank you. So initially when we kickstarted Techies, we thought it was all about Nigeria, but then most of our kids were from United Kingdom, South Africa, and we had some from the United States. So which made us realize that our problem is universal, it is global. Kids in the United States, kids in the United Kingdom, and then kids in Africa also need our solution. So basically what we do now is onboard teachers from all over the country. We have teachers from the United States teach kids from the United States. Teachers from United Kingdom teach kids from the United Kingdom. So partnership and collaboration is vital at this moment, inclusively funding. That is also very much important.
That's lovely. Martha and Raquel, I think Martha dropped her contacts in the chat. So I want to believe that she's in hopes that you do have a sort of connection or reaching out so you can create something together. I was also wondering, Aminat, whilst you were talking about teachers in the United States working with children in the United States, I thought about, have you envisaged something like a cross-cultural learning, and how do you think that might be impactful? So maybe we have a teacher from Africa teaching a child in the United States, and a teacher in the United States teaching a child in Africa or Nigeria particularly. That's cross-cultural connection, or even children across these countries working on tech projects together. Have you done anything related to that, and how was the experience?
All right, so in our current cohort, we have kids from the United Kingdom, the South Africa, Nigeria, and then the United States. But then one of the difficulty we had was picking a time. The time zone was quite different. Kids in Nigeria might be in the morning, kids in other countries might be in the night, and then all of that. So basically, what we do is that after the all normal classes, we try to bring them together for a project, exhibition, anything fun. But then for the major classes, we try to work with their own comfortable time zones.
That's really impactful. I think considering the time zone, that's a bit of design thinking there, knowing what really works or suits your audience. Well done, Aminat, on what you do in the edtech space. We are still open for I don't know, Des, have we exhausted our additional time? Can we still have a go for one last question? If that's still available onto us. Hi, Des. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Right here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Are we finished with questions, comments? Is everyone right? So let's give Elizabeth Adams and Creating the Power in Nigeria, in Namet, The Gift, Samuel, Idowu, Zakari, all a nice big round of applause. Amazing, amazing work.